Okay, I'm going to be demonstrating tubular cast on for the Cindersmoke Mittens. We learned in class what that looked like, but I just wanted to make a quick video to show you so that you could refer back to it in between the classes if you need to redo it or start over, or you're still kind of learning all the different steps. It can be a little finicky. So definitely take some time to practice on separate yarn before you undertake the actual mitten to get really good results. You always want to start on a needle that's 3 sizes smaller than the needle that you're using for your project. So in this case, the main body of the mitten is a size 10, a US 10. So I am using a US 7 as my cast on needle. I'm using worsted weight, not bulky weight yarn, so it might look a little different, but I just wanted you to have the chance to refresh and revisit what the stitches look like to get them on your needles. Okay, so we start first with a slip knot. We don't need too long of a tail, but you do want to leave some because you'll be using the tail to weave in later on. So give yourself a little bit extra than you would normally need, maybe about 12 inches or so. So I always have my tail yarn closest to me and my working yarn connected to the ball out in front of me. Just so I'm always consistent and the finished product just looks a little bit better. Okay, so I have my slip knot on my needle. I'm going to just hold the stitch in place with my index finger on my right hand, and then with my left hand I'm going to position my hands like a slightly modified long tail cast on. But the difference is I'm only working on this top over my index finger and this bottom over my thumb. We are not going to be using any part of the like what you would normally do for a long tail cast on when you scoop below. For this cast on, we are only using this and this for the cast on. Okay, so this will be, the slip knot will be a knit stitch. So in order to do the 1x1 ribbing, we're going to do our next stitch as a purl. So I like to think of this as over my index finger and under my thumb and give it a twist. So now you see that there's a little purl bump on there. The next stitch will be a knit. So we'll go under our thumb and over our index and give it a rotate. Over our index and under our thumb for a purl. Under our thumb, over our index for a knit. And then just continue doing this over and over. It'll look slightly off, but once you turn it and knit into those stitches, it'll all smooth out and it will look really great. So let's do this again. So I'm just completed a knit stitch. You can see that there's not a purl bump on there. So I'm going to do a purl stitch over my index, under my thumb, and give it a twist. Under my index, over my thumb. Nope, that was wrong. Over my thumb, under my index for a knit. Over my index, under my thumb for a purl. Under my thumb, over my index for a knit. Over, under, over, under, over, Now continue doing that until you have reached the number of stitches that you want to cast on for your pattern. This works for flat tubular knitting or tubular cast on, for flat knitting or for in the round. For our purposes, you're going to want to cast on 28 stitches, and then your next row will look like this in the next video.